made a post recently in my Facebook group asking practitioners over 40 what their biggest struggles were on the mat, or biggest struggles are on the mat in Jiu-Jitsu. And of course, perhaps unsurprisingly, the biggest struggle is keeping up with younger, stronger, more athletic Jiu-Jitsu players. What can we do about this? As older grapplers, how can we stay competitive or even just stay healthy and remain uninjured when we're training with younger, stronger players? I think one of the first things we can look at is choosing our partners more carefully. We're under no obligation to roll with everybody at the club. If you are at a club where everybody's a killer, maybe it's an MMA focused club and everybody's in their 20s and they're just a killer, perhaps you might want to take your membership elsewhere. You might want to find a club that caters more to people who are looking to go at a less aggressive, a less hell for leather pace. When you get to a certain age, especially for us hobbyists, people who aren't doing this full time, Jiu-Jitsu should be fun and it should be about health. It should be about promoting mental health, physical health. Of course, there's this sort of camaraderie aspect of the club, all these things. What it should not be doing is causing you anxiety, worrying about getting hurt, or worse still, getting hurt at the hands of aggressive, younger, stronger Jiu-Jitsu players. So that's the first thing, is address your environment. If you're in a place that doesn't cater to people who are in your lane, as it were, when it comes to sparring, maybe you need to move on. And if the place does cater to people like yourself, but there's still some sharks out there, again, you are under no obligation to roll with the sharks. You don't have to roll with people who you feel pose a risk to you. Now, I'm talking here, when I say people who pose a risk to your health, I'm talking about those who don't know any better, who, for these people, your safety is not their primary concern. Maybe it's the white belt, the 275 white belt, who doesn't know his own strength and is flopping around the place like a runaway train, or the competition-focused blue belt, again, who doesn't see your safety as a priority and they're more concerned with learning how to sweep the floor with their opponents so that they can get that gold. These are the kinds of people that, when you're at a certain stage of life, you need to be wary of. Responsibility for your safety ultimately lies with you. Yes, your coaches bear some responsibility, but you have to drive defensively, it's a practice we have here in the UK, driving defensively. You have to employ this mentality when it comes to your training. Now, on the technique or concept side of staying competitive with younger, stronger, faster, more athletic grapplers, what can we do? In Jiu-Jitsu, a huge emphasis, there's a culture of technique beats everything. And up to a point, this is true, we've seen it demonstrated many, many times, that smaller, more technical people can defeat larger, less skilled opponents. That's the whole premise upon which Jiu-Jitsu is based, and indeed martial arts in general. But that only takes you so far. There's a well-known principle in Jiu-Jitsu, I forget what it's called, but it goes something along the lines of, for every 10 years younger, your opponent goes up a belt. For every 20 pounds heavier, they go up a belt. So let's say you're 40 and you're a brown belt, and your opponent, and you're 200 pounds. Let's say your opponent is a white belt, but they're 20 and they're 220 pounds. So now they've got 20 years on you, so that's 2 belt ranks right there. So now they're a purple belt, and they've got 20 pounds on you. So that makes them a brown belt in terms of this principle, in terms of their physicality being at the same level as your technicality. So this is something to bear in mind. Just because someone is a lower belt rank than you doesn't mean that you're going to be able to handle them easily. So for those people who are beating themselves up, metaphorically, not actually, but metaphorically beating themselves up because they're struggling, those higher, older belts who are struggling with younger, less skilled individuals, just understand that physicality absolutely plays an important role in any combat sport, in any sport. That's why we have weight divisions, that's why we have age brackets, all this kind of stuff. But anyway, to return to something that we can do conceptually in terms of remaining competitive. Guys, I'm interrupting this video just to let you know that currently I'm giving away the Invincible Jiu-Jitsu Recovery Protocol. Click the link in the description and you'll be granted free lifetime access to the 10 video training. In this, you'll learn scientifically backed yet incredibly simple techniques to supercharge your recovery between training sessions. Whether that's training on the mat or in the gym, it doesn't matter. If you're exhausted after a session and by the time you come to your next session you're still exhausted, then this is the protocol for you. In just minutes, if you know how, you'll be able to engage your healing and recovery system on demand. So when you finish watching this video, click the link below and gain access to your free recovery training. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about using your strength, and more specifically, I'm talking about using your weight. Weight is a free resource that we all possess. Even smaller, lighter competitors, if you know how to use your body weight, you can employ it incredibly effectively against your opponent. Rickson Gracie is someone that pioneered and talks a lot about connection in jiu-jitsu. What the hell is connection? Connection, as he describes it, is imposing your weight on your opponent's movement. So when I'm rolling, especially with someone who is of a similar level or a similar size to myself and who's going to give me trouble technically, and if I'm feeling a little bit like I want to use every advantage I can, when I'm rolling with these people, I'm trying to make them carry me from every position. Now, because I've been playing with this connection thing for a few years, I know how to make them carry me from any angle, from any position. Whether that's me on top, me underneath, whatever it is, underneath, in cross side control, I can connect myself to them or connect myself to the ground in a way that makes it incredibly difficult for them to move me, for them to submit me, etc., etc. You don't always want to rely on your physicality because it will take away from your technicality, but it certainly has a place. And for us older grapplers or us smaller grapplers, when we're facing younger, bigger, stronger, more athletic individuals, we have to use, more often than not, everything we have at our disposal. And using your body weight, making your opponent carry you wherever possible, is an incredibly effective way of evening the playing field a little bit. So imagine you've been rolling with them. Imagine someone's rolling hard. This younger, stronger, more athletic grappler is rolling hard. How hard are they going to be able to roll after they've been carrying their weight and your weight for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? And the beautiful thing about this concept is the harder they go, the more energy they output, the harder they're working to carry themselves and you, the faster they get tired. So take this concept into your training when you're facing these younger, more athletic players. Play with it. It takes some time to develop this skill, this ability to connect to your opponent. It takes a little bit of time and focused effort, but it will pay dividends. So stick with it and good luck.